It's my audio. It's your audio. And flip. Wipe. And we are live. We're here and we're
Are you
back.
sure?
Just,
Yes, we
it's
are.
been.
Okay, I see it. It's real.
Who's
Hey,
this?
everyone.
Yay! All Pelicans, everyone. This is the first live stream in a long time, and probably the first video upload on my channel for a while, but also hello, and it's been. This is oh, I guess if any of you are new here on my channel, this is nothing nerdy, and
Hi, guys. What's up? All the
this is
pressure is
a
off me tonight. I don't have to stream. It's all on. It's all
yep.
on.
I'm
Inspect.
yeah.
Gonna.
She gets to relax because she's been doing all the work on her channel, we've been doing the uh, live streams for discussions and other things, and yeah, for the we're all fine here podcast of
Mhm.
sorts.
I am excited.
And yeah, now
Thanks
we're
for
here
coming.
to talk about Tales of the Jedi, which is something that we
Mhm.
didn't get to talk about because we were very busy the last couple of years.
Yeah, life's been crazy for both of us the last few months.
So, but now we're here. Now we're free to just talk about. And you just recently rewatched it, so
Literally 5 minutes ago. I watched it. I watched it when it first came out. But then that was it. So I
mhm.
needed a refresher.
I
So.
yeah, I was just gonna say like really I really love this show. Like they were bite sized, but they were really
Mhm.
really good bite sized food of Clone Wars animation, Star Wars stories,
Mhm.
everything.
Yeah. Yeah, I liked how it was only 15 minutes each because that's about how long my attention span is. So it's perfect for people like that. Um, and yeah, I liked how it focused on obviously Ahsoka, I mean,
Yeah,
who doesn't like Ahsoka? But also Count Dooku, which when they first announced the show, I just figured, oh, it'll be, a bunch of different Jedi that it's going to focus on.
yeah,
I think we all kind of assumed Ahsoka, but I wasn't expecting Count Dooku. And I
yeah,
didn't think, and even when we did find out, I was like, oh, Count Dooku, all right, well,
yeah.
but his
I
story
think
is really good.
Dooku's story is so tragic. It's like you're like rooting for him the whole time, and yet you it's especially like the very first one, which I really love the first episode with him, where they go to that village and then they have to like rescue the son, but they find out that the village suffers because the person in charge, the senator, and all that, and
Mhm.
so um, and we see like both young Dooku and Qui Gon. Young Qui Gon is his apprentice, getting more of that.
Mhm.
Who I think, which I learned, was voiced by Liam Neeson's son. So they got his son to
Yeah.
voice young Qui Gon, which is really cool.
Mhm.
And one second, see the Jedi at the back. No, it was like you. It, look, when Dooku was choking that guy out and about to slice him, I was like, I don't blame him, considering the guy was like, said he was about to like take down this entire village and burn it. It's like, you know what, Dooku, I'll let this one slide. Go ahead, yeah, take. I don't blame
Yeah,
you.
like his. I mean, these episodes that focused on him helped you to understand him a little bit more, like where he was coming from, and like you understand his anger, like you understand where he was coming from, like he isn't wrong in what he
Mhm.
was feeling.
Yeah.
Um, and he just went about it the wrong way.
Yeah. It's like a slower version of Anakin's fall. We're seeing
Hmm.
his disappointment, or he's seeing like the flaws of the Jedi and everything. He's like,
Yeah.
how do I fix this? How do I make this right? And unfortunately, it's like it's leading him right into the hands of Palpatine.
Yeah.
um, and we see also like we go see one like one episode with him and Mace Windu, they're working on a mission together, and we see how like two different sides of the Jedi kind of thought process. And of course, like it's not just the Jedi, but it's also the Republic itself that Dooku is seeing the flaws in, and he's like, how do I fix this?
Yeah.
And that leads that like one of the soldiers that they fought like basically said something that definitely hits Dooku very deep, where he's like,
Yeah, he says like, because I just watched it, it's fresh in my memory. He was like, yeah, he was like, why would I think Mace Windu had said, or Count Dooku had said, like, why did you hurt Master Katri? Like, she's Jedi, like, she would have listened to you. And the soldier was like, Psh, no, like the soldiers are for like for the rich, the politicians, like, they don't care about people like us. They're aligned with the politicians, basically.
Yeah, like the Jedi serve, the higher ups, not us that are actually like the working and all that. And yeah, and like Dooku's like, they're right. I need to. And I kind of wonder if there's like more to the story with after that, because I want to know. And especially then we get to the last episode where Dooku is already aligned with he's already like doing that. He's deleted Kamino. He's, I think, taken out Sifo Dyas, and he meets Qui-Gon again, and this is so cool. This happens during episode 1. This is literally like during the Phantom Menace, because it's happened after the battle Qui-Gon had with Maul on Tatooine, but before the Duel of the Fates on Naboo. So that's such a cool little, like, it's like a deleted scene from Phantom Menace like 20 years later or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I so often forget that Qui-Gon was Count Dooku's, a Padawan.
Yeah.
And so like I never really thought about until I watched this how his death would have impacted Count Dooku.
Yeah. And yeah. And of course they got Liam Neeson to actually voice Qui-Gon in this. And we got Yaddle. Yaddle got to be voiced, who was voiced by Bryce Dallas Howard. And it's like,
oh, that's right, I forgot about that.
And it's both sad because of what happens, but it's so cool that we finally get Yaddle like officially. That's like in a voiced media and sort of things, like a visual. Because she's been in comics and other things, and that's like how other ways of telling her story, but
canon.
Not in canon, but previous canon, old canon, and now we're new canon.
Okay. I'm just curious because I was like, oh, but like I haven't heard about any.
Oh yeah.
But you know what? Maybe now that since Tales of the Jedi, maybe they'll do like some new comics. Canon comics. Got turned into a waffle. Poor Yaddle. I mean, yeah, like I was so glad that we finally got a story with her. We got to hear her voice. We got to see her in action. Like she was more than just somebody in a chair. Like she was brought to life.
Yep.
But the one time she was brought to life, she died.
They show. They also kind of show or explain why she doesn't show up in the future episodes of the movie. Or the movie's like, what happened to Yaddle? Oh yeah, well she died.
Now we know. Yeah, common question. People always wonder why wasn't she in, episodes 2 and 3 or Clone Wars.
Yeah, like right between the like the funeral, like right before Dooku's Qui-Gon's funeral. It's all this all happens during episode 1, and Palpatine they meet Palpatine. Yaddle. It was like the second Yaddle sees Palpatine's like, oh well, Yaddle's gotta die. There's no way we can reveal Palpatine early. And it's like, and of course it has to be Dooku that takes her down. It's like his final strike into becoming a Sith officially.
Last nail in the coffin.
And Oh, it's the music too. The music during these episodes were really good.
Yeah, that wasn't something I realized the first time around that I watched it, but when I was watching it just now, I was like, I had the same thought. I was like, wow, this is really, really good music.
Mm. Um, but yeah, I think I do like the first one with Dooku the most, or I like the whole story, but I like the first one because it does show kind of like a little bit of like again, it's like prequel. You okay?
Something fell. I don't know. It was kind of a shit show in my apartment today.
I
It's a
didn't.
long story, but yeah,
I did not. I didn't hear
nobody's in
it.
there, so that's good.
um. Yeah, I like the first one. Like it shows how both Dooku, but also like how the Jedi are supposed to be. Like again, Qui Gon learned from this as well. He had experience, so that's why Qui Gon is more laid back about
Yeah.
things. Um, and, and yeah, it was a pretty good scene. We learned, and yeah, it shows again prequel. It's like almost more stories and all that, and I love that.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah, Qui-Gon really, I mean, Count Dooku said it himself, like, Qui-Gon, like, you saved many lives today. Like,
you're the
he,
better Jedi.
yeah, like, he didn't get emotionally involved. Like, obviously, he cared about what was happening, but Count Dooku, like, he was driven by his anger and outrage that he couldn't even think clearly.
Mm,
Um, which is something very normal that like that anybody could relate to. You know, when you get angry, you
yeah.
can't see clearly, you can't think clearly.
Like, but
Um,
yeah, like I was saying, it was like, you know what, Dooku, go ahead, go ahead, go ahead. It was like, it's not the right thing, but it's one of those like, it's not wrong entirely.
yeah, I mean, I wouldn't have been devastated if the guy died, but at the same time, I was like, you know, like Qui-Gon, like it's not the right thing to do, and um, you know, Qui-Gon was able to think quickly on his feet, and he was like, you know what, if I get his son, have
to
his son talk to him, and he tells you know, go save your father
yeah,
because he's not going to listen to Qui-Gon, he's not going to listen to anybody else, but
get someone to intervene and
yeah,
block and help. That and then it worked, and yeah, Qui Gon, it was the right move.
yeah.
And I want to know like what happens after. Like that's the thing, I don't know like this planet or anything, but I want like what happened to the senator? What happened to the senator's son? Like did they become separatist or something? Like did Dooku work with them after or anything? Like I'm curious like what's the
Wow.
story with this and all that.
Maybe I wonder if they'll do any like novels to kind of follow up. Novels, comics. I mean, they could even do it with Tales of the Jedi Part 2 where
Yeah,
they follow.
sequel to this all
Yeah.
that. Um but yeah, I can't really think of anything else to say about the Dooku episodes, but I really, really, really enjoyed them.
Oh, we got to see a dog.
Oh
Dog in
yeah,
canon now, which
there's
oh, I am
like a
so
space
excited.
dog,
Yeah.
but it was so
And I was,
like normal.
hmm I mean, of course, I was so nervous. I was like, oh my God, if anything happens to this dog, that's it. I'm turning this. I don't care. I don't care. I'm turning it off right now, and I'm not watching any of it. It'll be more just like Vision. It better
Yeah,
be.
no digital dogs were harmed in the making of this.
Yeah, they need to put that in the beginning. I don't care. That's a bunch of pixels. It's real to me.
Um, yeah, actually, the other thing I liked about the first episode too is it felt very fantasy more than like sci-fi because there was like just the village and
Oh,
um,
this.
the like it felt very like just a tavern and small townsfolk and everything and this kind of it felt very dreary and everything and like
Oh, okay. We're still talking about the count. I wasn't sure
so
which one we were talking about. So you're
I was
still
yeah
talking about.
sorry no I was like still just that reminded me of, like what I liked or I
Yeah.
was so impressed by in the first Dooku episode was how it like the only thing that made it like it was the lightsabers and the laser guns that just made it suddenly back to sci-fi and Star Wars, but everything else felt almost like an old fantasy kind of
Yeah,
style. But I
that's
really,
true.
but of course Star Wars is fantasy, so it still fits.
Yeah.
But yeah, oh, okay, yep, that's all I have to say about the Dooku episode. So now on to Ahsoka.
just trying to think if there was anything else I had to say about it. Um, well, yeah, and then after, well, just one more thing, and then after we see how Master Windu got, his seat on the council.
Right. Yeah,
They got what
he wasn't a council member yet.
Yeah, and he took Master Khatri's seat,
Hmm.
the Jedi who had died.
Yeah.
Uh,
Dooku was
and
like,
like, yeah, he seemed like a little spiteful and like a little like, like when did you find out about this exactly?
it's like,
Did you know about this?
were you offered the seat before you took this mission, or were you? It's like, what?
Hmm.
And I mean, at the same time, again, it's like, I'm not rooting like I'm not entirely rooting, or I am rooting for Dooku, but at the same time, or I understand Dooku's position, but I do kind of agree almost with Windu on this one a little bit, because it's like, yeah, Dooku's actions did lead to things getting out of hand. Even though he did solve the case, he solved the problem that they came to investigate, even though they weren't meant to investigate. But it's like, it's one of those things where it's like, yes, Dooku did a good thing by solving the corruption or the problem or everything that was going on, but it still led to some bad things that,
Yeah, but you see, like I think in this, it's weird. Like in my day-to-day life, I am a rule follower. Like I follow, like I'm not going to talk about what I do for a living, but in my job, like there are protocols that I have to follow, and I'm
yeah,
very regimented. Like some other people aren't, but I am, and people can't stand it. So like in real life, I am like that. But like in this situation, I'm looking at it, and I'm like, in real life, I would probably be more like Mace Windu, but like
hmm,
Count Dooku wasn't wrong. Like
yeah,
that, how that would like piss me off if like I was in their situation and something happened to me. The Jedi would be like, oh well, oh that's what they said happened. Okay, like nobody cared enough to investigate. They were just like they took everybody's word for it, and that was it.
yeah,
How sad is that?
yeah,
And they probably could sense in the forest that something was right, but they didn't care enough to try and figure out what really happened, and that's messed up.
yeah. It's
Dooku on this one.
it's that's a very again, like, I love how very no, it's not, I don't want to say like political, but like the decisions, the choices, and the opposing views on sides of the whole thing are clashing,
Hmm.
and it's like neither side is entirely wrong, and basically, like, they're both, there's no like obvious bad side exactly, except for some cases, but still, it's like the way that they handle things. Neither, like, Mace Windu is entirely wrong, but neither is Dooku. Like, both benefited from this, but
Hmm.
uh, it it feels like Dooku, or at least in a way, which I do see, it's like he feels like he got a little shafted or something. Like he got,
Yeah.
but yeah. Again, that was a really good episode. Like, all of those episodes, were really good, really well paced, and really enjoyed them. Oh yeah, and Ian McDermott also was voicing Palpatine in the,
Ah.
so he's still there. And good
Totally
old,
appropriate. I mean,
yeah,
nobody else could do that
of
or
course,
would do
yeah.
that.
God, he's just, it's just every time I hear him as Palpatine, it's like, yes, that's Palpatine.
Yeah. It.
um. Okay.
I guess that was really all my thoughts on those three episodes.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, it's good that you remind me, because yeah, I meant to, but I've been so busy, so I hadn't rewatched.
I just watched it, so it's like it's all fresh right here.
Yeah. But I guess now on to Ahsoka's episodes, which
Hmm.
just as good, honestly, in my opinion, still.
Yeah,
But it's one
really
of.
excited.
I think the difference is we kind of, like, each episode of Ahsoka, we know she's safe in a weird, like,
Hmm.
um, it's like, I think we already kind of know her story in these episodes, whereas Dooku's, we know where he ends up, but we don't know how he got there. That was like,
Yeah.
it's like difference of new, but
Hmm.
um, yeah. So, but we actually get her birth. We get, like, her first ever, like, early years of her life.
Yeah,
which
that was
were
so cool. Like I love how they started the episode where it's like it's night, everything's quiet, and all of a sudden,
you're.
the dad comes running out, she's here, she's here, she's here, and then, like the whole town is like alive and excited, and he's hugging everybody. Um, it was a cool way to start the episode.
Yeah, and it's one of those, like, meta me is like thinking, oh man, these people have no idea who they've given birth to. They've given birth to like like a very, very special person.
Yeah,
Not just a Jedi, but like what she's gonna do in the future.
yeah.
And but yeah, and we get to see a little more of her species, like the Togrutas, their life and
Mm.
the way they live. I don't know if like every Togruta like lives like this, but it's like this is
Her village.
her village.
Mhm.
It was Soka's fault.
Um, oh, what was I gonna say? It was cool to see her mother.
Yes,
I was like, oh my gosh, Ahsoka looks so much like her.
she has parents.
Yes. She didn't just like come from the stars, you know.
That actually.
Um,
Oh, sorry. I was just makes me say, like, man, now I want her to like find her parents and like or just run into them or something. Like I know that probably will never happen, but
that got me. It's funny you say that because this episode got me thinking about that in general. The Jedi are taken from their families when they're very young.
hmm
I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 years old. And but like as they get older, they become Padawans, Knights, whatever, and they travel the galaxy. Like, do the Jedi know their planet of origin? Do they like? I know a lot of them don't know their village.
yeah,
Like we saw with um, Grungy. Is it Grungy from Bad Batch?
Gunji, yeah,
Saying Grungy. Obviously, he knew it was
the
from Kashyyyk, but he didn't know his village. So, like, I wonder if like they ever come across their families, but maybe don't realize it. Like, would they sense it in the Force?
hmm
It just got me. That whole thing got
yeah.
me thinking.
I think that's and then in the Obi-Wan shows, like how he talks about how he could feel or remember. He doesn't. I don't know if he said what planet he could. If he did know what planet he was from, huh?
Dude, John. Well, that's what George Lucas said. I don't know if that's
Oh.
still canon.
They actually do have a canon. Yeah, I do feel like Obi-Wan did know or something in like Legends, but I don't know about canon.
Yeah.
But and I think I think they do have like a planet origin, but maybe not a like specific like address location.
You want to send a Mother's Day card? Send it here.
Yeah, no, I was not surprised. It's like if that was a quiz, that would be the one she'd get, and I would actually not get.
Do you know how George Lucas came up with the name, Stuja? Because I can tell you that too.
Inform
Jon
us.
Stewart.
Huh?
He was on Jon Stewart, and I think because they were talking about Obi-Wan Kenobi,
Oh yeah.
and he was like, I don't know, where is he from? And he said, Stu John, or like it was something. It was somehow they were on the subject, and yeah, or like maybe how do you come up with planet names, Stu John. What planet is Hunter from? Camino?
I feel like it's one of those things where George Lucas maybe does have those ideas in his head, but at the same time he's just not finalized them, and then he just blurts them out, and it's just like,
Yeah.
yep, that's what it is now. I mean, you guys are gonna run with it. I'm done. I actually wonder if that's like I know George Lucas isn't in charge, nor is he like. But if he like were to say something now, like if he were just to completely blurt something out now, would Disney? I mean, it's one of those things like would Disney take that and make it real, or because or
They'd
they
have
just
to,
be like, no, that's not true anymore.
I feel like they'd have to do paperwork, honestly, if they're gonna take something that George Lucas says. I don't know,
That's an interesting question. That's an interesting.
but George Lucas doesn't really, as far as I know, he doesn't talk much about it anymore.
Yeah, he's got other things.
Yeah.
I feel like anything he talks about is behind the scenes with like Dave and all the others when they come to him for a little bit of like advice about what they plan to do with Mandalorian and Clone Wars and all the other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
What plan is hunt? It's like for a second it took me. It's like, oh right, duh, where they all come from. Unless they were like, maybe there was like a different cloning facility, and that's why they're different.
Maybe.
Let's see. But yeah, so okay. We didn't get there were no digital dogs hurt, but there were digital deer kangaroos that were hunted.
I didn't like that part. I didn't watch that part because it upset me.
I do find it funny how I it's just one of those things where it's like you must like how her mom and everything was just like you must be respectful of this and you must do all this and then bang.
I know. Yeah, it didn't make sense, but then again,
like,
at the same time, that's their way of living.
I do understand the inspiration of the relation because it's very it's like older cultures that would be very respectful to the things that they hunted at the time.
Mm-hmm.
But still, it's just, and also I'll say this: who brings a baby to a hunt? It's like,
I mean, and she's holding it right here, and she's got this here.
I don't know what tradition this is that the Chagrudas have, but it's like I think you need to work on it.
Well, even her husband had said, like
it's the old.
Yeah, it's the old ways. Are you sure you want to do this? And she was like Ahsoka. She was like, I'm gonna do this. Like, I don't care what you say.
It's just like it's this is the way. It's like,
yeah.
And you're just like fine, and then 10 minutes later she ends up being attacked by a big cat, and her baby gets taken off. I also didn't realize. Oh, go ahead.
No, it's good. And then Ahsoka saves herself.
Yeah. I like how she through the Force calms the cat down. The cat's just like, okay, I'll take, or like the cat and the Force and everything just takes Ahsoka back, and like Ahsoka's just like I kept thinking like if she was a little horse she would just be like, can I keep him? I'll feed him and
Yeah.
I'll water him and all that. Just like, yes, this is my pet now. My pet tiger.
When I was watching that scene where she's like connecting to him through the Force, I thought she was going to heal him at first. I was like, oh wait, can Ahsoka do this? But she doesn't remember. Like, so interesting. And obviously they didn't go in that direction. But.
Yeah. I did find it funny though that that the cat just picked Ahsoka up and ran off. Like I was like, oh okay, that's nice of you. I'm just gonna save you for like a snack later or something.
In reality, to me, that scene didn't make sense that he would take her because there was a huge dead animal that it could eat.
Yeah.
So why take this itty bitty? That would feel like a cavity.
Yeah.
Really didn't make any sense. But I had to tell a story.
I actually have a thought that maybe the cats are more intelligent on this planet than like normal cats or like normal animals or something, like maybe because it even like after it returned to Ahsoka, like the mother was like thank you or like thanked it, and it's like it kind of like acknowledged that and before turning away. So maybe it's like it's still an animal, but it's more intelligent. It's more intelligent of an animal. It can understand things maybe, and the Force maybe is affecting it.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely agree with that. I think that's true. But like the intelligent thing, I think would have been to eat the bigger animal, not itty bitty little baby.
little nugget.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a good. It was an interesting first episode. It was the longest one too. It was like 20 minutes, I think.
Yeah.
And I think the other two episodes though I think was very much more because it was more of Ahsoka herself. This is the origin of how she found the Force.
Yeah.
Which I think it was like Plo Koon that found her, or like after like that came and got her. So she, which I was actually wondering if we would ever see that, like we'd actually see her part with her parents or something, like we would see that like separation or anything. Like how would that go? Because like yeah, like how does a family react when you find out your kid is a Jedi and like you gotta let them go or something? Like how does that work?
That would be an interesting series of episodes. Is like, and do like a Tale of the Jedi style, like 15 minutes. Like these families having to give up their babies and how hard it was for them. Did any of them ever refuse? Did any of them ever run off?
It's like,
Like,
you know, like Army Wives or something like those, kind of like just put with like Jedi mothers or something.
mm-hmm.
Like Shmi, we could get an episode of Shmi after Anakin leaves or something. That would be interesting to see. Like
That would be well. Anytime I think of Shmi, I'm like, I can't. It's too sad. But she, I mean, things do get better for her. She gets married or whatever. But
yeah.
I know in the novelization we get a little bit of her waiting for him, like to come back. But what did I say? I like the ending of that episode. You know, the tiger brings the Ahsoka back, and you know the mother's holding the baby, and the mother's like, how is this possible? And I forget her name, but the wise woman of the village is like, you know, she kind of like senses, I don't know. She says Ahsoka is Jedi.
Yeah, and
which is kind of cool because at one point Ahsoka, when she's older, she's like, I'm no Jedi.
Yeah, Ahsoka is Jedi. This makes me wonder if, you know, because if she says like, you know, Ahsoka is a Jedi or something, that this isn't the first Jedi kid that has popped up in this village or something like that.
Yeah.
Or in her time. Or maybe she's been out there, or maybe she's just a retired Jedi, like she's done her Jedi. She was an old Jedi, then she moved back here and was like, oh, I'm just gonna go live my final years out here.
Jedi retirement village. Ahsoka probably tastes like Skittles. You know what? Maybe.
And then we get the next episode, which is the training episode with Anakin. Yeah. We get more of Anakin in this, and it was so good.
It was, but it was just heartbreaking at the same time. Yeah. I mean, like everyone has said, you know, it's just crazy how Anakin prepared her for
just, and which is, I will say, it's funny how like Anakin is, or the whole thought process of like the clones are gonna be more dangerous than droids, which I find funny because the droids aren't living, so I don't know how you would sense the Force better from droids than clones. Like, because I feel like you would sense a clone's intention way easier than you would sense a droid's intention, something like that. But
no, I would think maybe droids are very literally robotic, mechanical, so their technique is always the same. So you meet one droid, you've met them all.
Okay, yeah. Yeah.
As opposed to like a human, there's a lot more going on in there. There's emotion, there's technique, there's they have to adapt to the environment, things like that.
Yeah, okay. You know what? I mean, that actually makes a lot of sense. That definitely was like, the droids probably follow the same pattern. They don't really adapt as fast as clones or something like that do. Or basically humans and other people that you can sense. And again, I do, even though it was non-intentional, it was like Anakin basically prepared her for Order 66. It was just like...
Yeah, Order 66.
Like,
and that's crazy. It's sad.
Yeah. And I was... Not... it was one of those things where I feel like it was a way to explain how Ahsoka was able to survive. Mm-hmm. Even though, like, honestly, I've seen her through Clone Wars. I had no doubts that she could survive that, especially with like 2 lightsabers. But it was nice to actually see like a Like, she actually trained against clones. Like, she actually had... She has experience more than all the other Jedi probably before. That. So... And yeah, we could... I love her. It's like, she's training, then she gets blasted, she gets stunned, and she wakes up and it's like an hour later. And then the next time she gets like stunned like 3 times. I'm like, oh great, that's 3 hours. We gotta wait for her.
I love the part where Rex is like, yeah, Jesse tagged you real good. And she looks over at him and he's like, sorry, Commander.
Yep. And of course, Jesse was one of the ones that was on her Venator, and everything was the one that was battling her in Order 66, so it was like, ah!
Okay.
And again, like the music with that one, and we saw more of her evolution. Oh, and we saw Kanan. We saw Caleb and his master in that, which...
He was like so excited watching Ahsoka train.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
Which, it's like, that... It makes me realize, like, oh yeah, they meet again, like, later in Rebels and all that. That's so cool.
Yeah, you're right.
Like, how they know each other. And of course we get, like, new models for Anakin and Obi-Wan. Like, Obi-Wan actually has the mullet in the...
They did a good job with him in this episode. His look.
And... yeah, Anakin's got the short hair, and then later on, after the montage, and we get like some time has passed, we see that his hair has grown out longer, and he's more like Episode 3 Anakin.
Thanks for mansplaining. Not you, him.
I'm just trying to think of what else.
From that episode? You want to know something? I didn't realize, the first time I watched that episode, I didn't realize there was a passing of time.
Oh.
I mean, obviously in the end, during Order 66, I knew, but like the second one, where she's like a little older.
Yeah. Where she gets her second saber too and all that.
Yeah, I don't think I picked up on that the first time. But that was cool how you see, like, okay, this is something she's been training for years and years. This wasn't just like a one-time exercise. This was like literally training, for life.
Like she didn't just, exercise one day and then move on. No, she's been getting those gains. And we do get that at the very end. We get a little bit of an extra bit of the end of Order 66 for them, where right before they go out and make their escape, Rex and Ahsoka, which is one of those things where it's like, oh man, you could almost insert this like in between, in that like just a little extra scene. It's so good.
The Jedi that get sabers seem greedy when they leave the 2 crystals.
If the 2 crystals grow for you, then 2 crystals grow for you. It's like, it's not.
I think it's a smart decision. I think every Jedi should have either have 2 sabers or like use one but have like a backup.
Yeah.
Like I think if I were a Jedi, I would totally be that person. Like I would have my one, but I would have like a backup in case something happened to the
person. I'm single saber myself, but I think agreeing having a backup is not, especially considering how easily a lot of the Jedi you see just lose their sabers. Imagine, like, seriously, you'd think Anakin and Obi-Wan would be like, maybe we should just have backup sabers. After, like, Maul kicked one off and Anakin's got his smashed and Obi-Wan and Jango were fighting and Obi-Wan loses. Just like...
Alum should just open up, like, a gift shop. Oh, and buy another crystal.
It's like, buy one... It's like, Ilum, find one, get one free.
Imagine if you have 2 arms and leave with 3 crystals. Do you attach the third to a helmet? Lots of places you could attach it to.
It was like imagine like all the like forearms like Pog Krell or Grievous. Well, Grievous stole his, but Pog Krell like got 2 sabers, so he probably has like 4 crystals. Yeah, and then we get a episode which I think was referenced in the Ahsoka book, the old canon book,
Oh.
which was canon, and then it's not. It is been remade.
Wait.
There was
I know about the new. I know about the E.K. Johnston book, but I didn't know about an old one.
Oh no, that's the one. That's the only Ahsoka book, but it basically talks about
Okay.
this. Like it was before Clone Wars came back, so it was basically to explain what happened to Ahsoka after
Hmm.
all
Yeah.
that,
Right.
and we finally get to see again. We get to see where Ahsoka did after Order 66 and after her and Rex party. We get Padme's funeral after.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, she was there. She was there for that.
Yep.
Oh. And then her and Bail Organa have a chat, and like she's like, nope, I'm done, I'm out, I'm gone, and he's just. But before she can leave, like some clones show up and Bail has to like bail himself out of there and just, but also like give a give a message in to Ahsoka, basically like saying, hey, if you need help, to the clones, it's like, hey, if you need help, come let me know, and I will be there for you. And the clones just like, what is he talking about? And Ahsoka makes her Batman escape, and meets back up with Rex, and they've still got the Y-wing, and then they leave Naboo and part ways at some point.
Yeah.
Which probably is like like Bad Batch. It's like Rex is off doing Bad Batch while she is doing this.
It kind of like it kind of makes me sad now to think like that they separate. Like
Mhm.
I like how could Ahsoka and Rex like separate with everything they went through together, and they had the same goal, like the same intent. Like why separate? Like I don't like now that I know them more, and
Mhm.
I'm more emotionally involved in what they went through and their stories. Like how could you separate like after everything that happened? Like how could you go separate ways?
Yeah,
I don't
I
get
do
it yet.
want like again, I want another Tales of the Jedi. I just want to like what happened. I know I'm like asking for like every second of their lives, but it's like I want to know why did Rex and Ahsoka part. I assume it's simply because it's like okay, having a clone and a Jedi, really famous Jedi and a famous clone in the
Yeah.
same area is gonna be like that's gonna turn some heads.
Hmm.
So I feel like it was more for like okay, we can't stay together. We're gonna draw attention.
Wait, side note, one of the was something I didn't get. This is like it's Rex related, but not Clone Wars related. In Bad Batch, when we see Rex in season 1, he's still wearing his armor,
Yeah.
and I was like, dude, that's a big red flag. Like you're just
I mean, he's wearing a poncho over it, but
a
I mean,
poncho.
to be fair,
He looked great in it, but it didn't really cover much.
I mean, he needs his. I mean, you never know when you're gonna need your armor at that point. But I will. Against Bad Batch, I'm thinking it's just like they never change armor either. It's like you think their armor also sticks out way more. They're like unique.
I didn't get that either. Like they finally changed it in season 2, but in season 1, they were actually after you. Like why are you keeping your armor? Why not paint it? Or I don't know.
Yeah.
Kind of stupid, but
Um.
I guess you know what, they can't think of everything.
I mean, they look. They were bred to be soldiers. They were bred for just like one purpose. They were like, thinking to a point was their limit. It's not like to be too smart. It's like
They need a woman in their lives to teach them common sense.
that's Omega.
It's a little too late at this point, though.
um, but then we get to like where Ahsoka is basically a farmer. She joins
Mhm.
the wheat farming and all that, which is
Yeah.
I don't know why it's just one of those weird concepts where you see something very normal in Star Wars. It's just like, oh yeah, but oh wow, that's are we on Earth?
Mhm.
um, and of course something goes wrong with one of the villagers, and Ahsoka has to use the Force.
And the girl knew, like, she saw Ahsoka, she knew that
It was just like,
she had done something.
there's no way everything that fell on me wouldn't fall on me, and here I see you with your hand out, very like, yeah, you Jedi. Of course, Ahsoka's just like, I'm not no.
The girl, I'm like, why did she say anything? She shouldn't have said anything. Like,
Yeah. And also, I like Ahsoka. It's like, who knows how long she's been here, but she's like been very distant. It's like, hey, come on, hang out, make some friends. Quit being like suspicious. You're being very,
don't be suspicious.
don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious.
Yeah.
My mind went blank for a second. I'm really thirsty. Hang on.
Go get water.
I'll be right
Got
back.
this. I can handle this. Go on.
Entertain.
So, guys, what do you want to know? Hey, Bill, think you could give Ahsoka a comp to talk to Kenobi? Sure. Oh. Yeah, and then I think it's her brother that, like,
Oh yeah.
throws Ahsoka under the bus.
Yeah.
The leader, I guess you would say. But, that bites him in the ass.
Yeah. I like how like the brothers pro Imperial. It's like he's
Yeah.
of course it's you're just like, yeah, you don't want the Empire, like, and then he says, hey, I got a Jedi, like I guess he calls them. It's just like, hey, there's a Jedi here, and then, oh, Jedi, well, let's bring the Inquisitor. Which that Inquisitor looks so cool. Like,
yeah, he was scary looking.
Just like, what kind of Inquisitor was he? Because
yeah.
And again, the mute, like when they finally meet Ahsoka, and she doesn't have any say. She's just her and the Force, and they face off. And again, it's very Go ahead.
Oh no, I'm saying she kicks his ass in like 2 seconds.
Yeah, it's very
No, lightsaber.
very samurai, very like very martial arts kind of thing, where it's like, the person has the weapons, and then you just dodges it, and then catches it, and then immediately just turns it on against him and uses it. And it was like, dang, 1-2, give him a 1-2. And then when he dies, though, his mask collapses. Like, makes me like wonder, what was that? Like, what kind of alien was he or something?
Wow.
But yeah, it really shows like how, like, Ahsoka was an apprentice, and she was basically a Jedi Knight at that point. And it really shows like how whoever this Inquisitor was, no match for just a Jedi. Like, Jedis are even if they're Jedi Knights or even Jedi apprentices, they're still leagues above Inquisitors.
Yeah.
Most of the time. Inquisitors are there for a reason. They still do. They're still dangerous. And then, of course, to help apparently, it was a bit this one guy thought he was trying to help, the brother was trying to help everything, and ends up it gets everybody else destroyed. It has to.
Yeah.
And so it's those three, and Ahsoka has to call Bail to get them out of here, and of course that she finally realizes okay, maybe I should join the fight. I'm back.
Packages.
And I think the Inquisitor saber also is where she gets her white lightsabers from too, so she purifies them and makes her own sabers again. I have said before where I wanted to see that animated, and I'm so glad we got it. It's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Tales of the Jedi. Really.
Yeah, it was really a good 6 episodes. Again, I like that it was only a few episodes, 15 minutes short.
Nice condensed stories that get to the point.
Yeah.
But still paced well, in my
Yeah,
opinion.
I think they all felt longer than 15 minutes, like in
Hmm.
a good way. I felt like we got so much in just such a short period of time. Um,
Yeah,
so I would definitely be into more episodes.
yeah, and yeah, I'm just like, again, more keep the Clone Wars animation going. I mean, with Bad Batch and Tales of the Jedi, just and whatever else you want to bring.
Yeah.
um, yeah, I liked, like I said, I like Dooku's story because it was new. It was something we hadn't seen
Yeah.
before, and how it like added to his character that I never like thought about Dooku as tragic before until
Right. Me neither.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it made me sad to like think about, oh, how like how he was responsible for his orders, like his part to play in Order 66, and his death and everything, how it all was. I was just feel like everything he's done is pointless now, or for him, or at the
Yeah.
end. Um, and the Ahsoka episodes were good at adding more to her that we didn't get to see, little parts of her that we didn't get to see,
Yeah.
which are cool, and
Yeah.
good, more questions to what, like I want like almost in between stories between these stories, like they need like more bites between bites.
We want every second of every day of every month and year. Like if they made that, we would watch it.
Yeah, just
Won't they get that?
it's
We
like
plan everything.
three whatever 365 Star Wars. Yeah, where
Yes.
you just
Just make a live cam, even though you really can't do that for animated characters, but like make it up and we'll watch it.
uh a hidden cam,
Yeah.
24/7 Kenobi. It'll be Nerdy's channel.
To that.
Alright. So, and yeah, stream's doing good, I think. Doing all good,
Yep, we're still here, so that's a good sign.
We're all fine here.
Oh, fine. I did like the first 10 minutes of my stream yesterday completely silent because my mic had fallen to the floor a few days prior and I kind of forgot about it. I'm just sitting there talking and MXC comes in like 10 minutes in. He's like, I think your mic is off. And I'm like, off? It's on the floor, unplugged.
Just didn't put it back. It just
And I didn't like, I didn't think anything of it. So, I thought my desk looked a lot emptier.
yeah. I hope the audio is all good too, because yeah, this is the first time I've in control of the levels, and I hope we like sound balanced, because
How do we sound, MXC?
are we both one too loud, one too quiet, and all that? ASMR, nerdy.
Audio is good. Okay,
Yeah. Okay,
good.
I did it.
You did it. You did good, kid.
All right. Is there anything else you feel to add?
I've got nothing.
All right. So that's yeah. Sorry, it's late, but we got to Tales of the Jedi, and really, really enjoyed it, and very excited for any more stuff related to it. So yeah. And on to whatever the next stream will be, whether here or on Nerdy's channel. Probably talking about Bad Batch pretty soon. Excited for that. Alright. So, thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Take care, and we'll see you there in the next episode of We're All Fine.
Yeah, we're all fine for now.
Yeah.
Bye, everybody.